It is the 1-year anniversary on the Dr. Patrick Flynn Show, and we will be talking about gender neutrality. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Ross Skorzewski. I'm the host of the Dr. Patrick Flynn Show, and it is the 1-year anniversary today, 52 episodes that we've been able to bring this show to you, talking about everything from, I don't know, we got confetti everywhere right now, but it's a beautiful thing, talking about everything from health concerns to personal growth and development, business questions, and more, raw and unscripted, all with the one and only Dr. Patrick Flynn, also known as the Hormone Whisperer, the man who speaks to your hormones better than anybody that I have ever seen or heard before. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Patrick Flynn, 1 year, my man, 52 episodes. What do you think?
1 year. Actually, I thought because the 52 was behind you, they thought that was your birthday.
My age.
Oh, my mic's way over here. Look at I have my mic in front of me there. So here we go.
I'm not 52.
No.
No, you get there before me.
Nope, but I can't wait till there's a 0 at the end of that for 520 episodes.
That would be awesome.
And stuff. So I can't
be
believe
awesome.
It's a year, man.
It is,
can't believe
an
it's
amazing
a
year.
It's we've planned this out a long time for many years that way, and then all of a sudden, guess what? We actually made the dream come a reality because that's what we do and stuff. And then we actually started to really get some big traction in what we're doing today. And I can't believe how many people watch this show every single week and how much gets shared across the internet and stuff. And I believe today we're going to lose a lot more subscribers.
I do as well. And that's the beautiful thing about this. It's always been about, putting information out there.
Period.
And whether you like it or not in the raw, unscripted format that it is, you don't have to watch the show. It's beautiful. You can unsubscribe. You can change the channel. You can turn off your computer. But today is probably going to offend some people.
Yes.
Actually, I shouldn't say probably. It's going to. But in the hopes of being able to potentially shine a different light on one of the biggest, I think, topics out there today. We're seeing it all over the place. You're beginning to speak about it more, even from your hormone connection, even in our personal conversations that we're having, because you're beginning to connect the dots a little bit more. Something that is political has a very strong tie to a biological issue.
Yes, it does.
And I'm excited to hear your thoughts on it. Like I said, though, I know
it's going to blow everybody's mind away on my thoughts of it that way because I've dealt with it. I've dealt with it clinically. I have to deal with it all the time that way. I have to give my opinion on it because I get a lot of people know I love politics, and so I ask my opinion on it that way. And I'm going to disrupt both Democrats and Republicans today, based from a simple biological viewpoint that way. And once again, this topic for, I saw it on there, so I actually had to pull some of the things that they published years ago that way, because I'm going to show you why this is such a big problem today and how we can make this go away very quickly and stuff. And
gender neutrality, we've been seeing it for years. Unfortunately, politically speaking, it's infiltrating our schools in a lot of conversations, trying to create this neutral playing ground between boys and girls, men and women. And this is not like a brand new issue. This has been around for decades.
Sure does.
And it's really getting to the point, though, where it's becoming highly, I think, problematic. It's systemic now.
Oh, by far, systemic. It's systemic because of stupid people.
Yes, I agree 100%.
Because stupid people. And I'm going to tell you you're stupid today and stuff like that because, once again, because you will just keep emotional stuff instead of actually scientific stuff.
Yes.
And see, so that's why I tell people I don't have emotional discussions. I don't care about your friend that's gay.
Yes.
You're saying it's like, well, I have a friend that's gay. I don't care. I said it doesn't change the things that, for example, that happen biologically and vice versa. You're saying so that's why it's like, okay. You know what I'm saying? I have a cousin that's gay. Okay. Big deal. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's different people's stance on. It's emotional stances. Let's kind of go back to, the nuts and bolts of what really always goes on. No pun intended. You know what I'm saying?
Where did that come from?
Yeah, but
we're going back to the garden.
So I'm hoping, actually, it's no joke. And I'm going to tell you that Republicans have it wrong. I'm going to tell you Democrats have it wrong.
Yeah.
I'm hoping actually that Ben Shapiro watches this show because his wife's a doctor and she's a contributor to actually this whole problem. Now I'm just saying that because I want Ben to actually contact me about this because because he posted something really dumb yesterday, and people know I'm very strong about my opinions on there. People know that I'm a conservative that way. I'm not Republican and stuff. I'm a conservative that way. But it's really funny, and when I explained today that the medical field is actually one of the biggest contributors. Let me say again that for example. That medical profession today is actually one of the biggest contributors to gender dysphoria and all the problems that come up with all the identification problems.
Yes.
You were saying, then guess what? He's not going to be pushing, vaccines like he did about an article yesterday and tweeted about yesterday. And I actually responded to them with research that way. And of course, I never get research back. So let's get into it. And so I'm a very big fan. I'm a very big fan of Ben Shapiro as far as the political stances and stuff like that. But when it comes to this, he's totally wrong on this stuff.
And what I like about this, and what, for those of you who are watching with us, once again, I do thank you. But today, I want you to really kind of put on the shelf your emotions. I want you to wrestle with the information that is coming across your way.
Wait till you get done.
Yeah, because to really put this into perspective, like your hormone connection, you're bringing facts to the table. You're bringing physiology to the table.
It doesn't matter if there's doctors or lay people or whoever's that way. They all come up and go, it makes so much sense.
Yes.
So listen to what I have to say today. And for example, and if it makes sense, share it intensely. Because once again, it's really funny because, not a joke, for example, it doesn't matter if you are gay, it doesn't matter if you're straight, it doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or a Republican. This will all make sense to you. And the cool thing is it's all backed with literature. It's all backed with literature.
And you that's why, find it yourself.
So, that's why they said the only people that are going to make bad comments about this is that people that deal on emotions.
Yes.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And once again, and I'm going to be clear, like I said, when I say, Ben Shapiro's wife, for example, because he always talks, my wife's a doctor. Yeah, that's right. And I see you're big on medical stances, but medicine is one of the biggest contributors to the problem that you say is wrong. Do you know what I'm saying? So we're gonna see if he's gonna respond to my aspect that way. And I want to make it very clear, I'm a big fan of his, so I'm not trying to, thing, but I believe that, for example, this discussion, he's talked about discussion about that way. Well, guess what? Our current medical system is one of the biggest contributors to gender identity problems today.
Just trying to shine the light on topics that are out there where people are more used to being sheeple and digesting, talking points from political parties rather than diving into the topic yourself and educating yourself. So we're going to go there. So ladies and gentlemen, shall we dive into episode 52? We already have. We're 8 minutes in so far, almost 8 minutes. So here's the question. It's twofold, so I'm going to break it down, read it once, and break it down into two. Here we go. Knowing you have put out some pretty charged statements in regards to today's society, trying to balance the scales between the genders, what is your thought clinically in regards to the whole gender neutrality movement? One part, second part.
Well, let's stop right there.
All right, let's do it.
Because the breakdown question that way. Let's start right there. If you look at a young boy and a young girl, when it comes to biologically, yes, obviously we have different parts. There is no doubt, okay? And then what happens is, but you notice, for example, mentally, you ever said, my example is 2 7-year-olds can get along just fine.
Sure.
Yes, by nature, for example, there are some differences that happen between a young boy and young girl, especially biologically that way. So once again, there is a biological boy and there's a biological girl. There's no discussion about that. All you have to do is look at them, okay? Internally, though, here's what happens. If I were to measure the testosterone levels of a little girl and a little boy, they're very similar.
Sure.
They really are. See, so that's why you ever notice, I always tell people, psychologically, a little boy and a little girl can get along just fine. But see, it doesn't stay that way. See, so this whole idea, for example, of people saying still that little boys and little girls are the same, I know what they're trying to say. They're trying to say, for example, that they can act and physically and mentally have some of the same things that way. Now, they're not all the same things that way, but if you look at, for example, measuring some hormone levels, there's some of them that are the same, okay? But here's what happens. If any child lives long enough, guess what happens? He will hit puberty.
Puberty, or she will, yes.
And she will hit puberty. And by nature, by a God-given biological response, the hormones start going different directions. And they really change physically, and they really change mentally. And there's the big difference. Now, let me show you how this all gets messed up. Okay?
Come on, break it down.
So here we go. This is extremely well known. See, in about 2004 to 2006, this started to become a problem. But what happens is this. In massive research, and I can pull articles after literature from the American Psychiatric Association, everything, okay? And I'm going to pull up even, back in 2005 when they talked about gender-binding chemicals and stuff. So let's go here, okay? Your body can be influenced by internal and external things.
Sure.
Let me give you an example. There are things called endocrine disruptors. Actually, no joke, the government, everybody, in massive studies that they've done, they have endocrine disruptors on the National Institute of Environmental Health Sciences. So your government-based website, pop it up, okay? And they talk about massive endocrine disruptors that can throw off the whole biological system. Okay.
We've been talking about this for episode
this
after
is normal.
This is to birth control.
Exactly.
And,
birth control is an endocrine disruptor.
Yes.
Guess what? Also, what else is? Okay, they have it listed. They have a ton of them listed here. Everything from bisphenol A, which actually they used to line baby bottles with. They still do. Okay. DDT,
ETA, yes.
ETA, DAEHP, everything. All these. And guess what happens? They even listed on the governmental website the phytoestrogens, including soy-based products.
Oof.
So let's go here. Let's go here, Mr. Pediatrician, medical doctor, pushing your formula because you're clueless about, for example, healthcare. You're clueless about nutrition, and you're telling people to stop breastfeeding and actually move towards soy-based formulas and pushing it. You're actually causing gender problems with little kids right away.
The gender bending, which you just mentioned.
The gender bending, because it's more estrogenic, and you can take a little boy and move him more towards a female tendency. They've done massive studies on this. They've actually measured the distance between both the vaginal and the penis and the rectum. And as they're more gender, as they're more estrogen dominant, the shortens. And the genital size is smaller. Okay? So I think you can biologically push their whole makeup in the wrong direction. And it starts medically. What else happens? Guess what? Aluminum. Mercury. Now, I'm just reading off all the basic things you can read in a simple book, and this is our well documented. Okay? Fire retardants, lead, arsenic, mercury, PFCs, organic, here we go. Organofossil pesticides, so your herbicides, your Roundup.
Yes.
Okay? Guess what? Your ethers, once again, things like propylene glycol. Hey, guess what? A lot of these are actually in vaccines. Vaccines are known as endocrine disruptors.
Yes.
So the medical profession does what? They give a child a vaccine, they're endocrine disruptor. They're messing the kid up physically and mentally. And you're surprised that we're having people, little boys and little girls, confused who they are?
And this is where, and this is where it goes back, where a lot of people are starting to say, well, I remember identifying this. I remember having these thoughts, all the way back to when I was...
I totally agree.
What, 2, 3,
I totally agree.
Yes.
And their biology, because our current medical system, also has responsibilities? Monsanto. DDT. Do you see what I'm saying? You're farmers. You're farmers. We actually had a farmer actually get so ticked off at my GMO thing, sent me this long message. Why? Because it was an emotional message, because it's his livelihood.
Right.
See, that's why I tell people, Ben Shapiro's not going to like what I said today because his wife's a doctor. Guess what? If your wife believes in vaccines and believes in baby formulas and things like that, guess what happens? Not making an assumption that way, but the idea is this. You toted an article about non-vaccinated people. Come on, Ben, take me on this. Let's do it. And I'm a fan of yours, Ben. Well, I am. So once again, but this is what Republicans drive me nuts, because they always talk about they don't like big business unless it's medicine.
Yep.
Or unless it's the military. Do you see what I'm saying? And so it's like, because they want to force us to do vaccines. Vaccines are endocrine disruptors. They're well documented. They will cause some of these problems. Do you see what I'm saying?
I think it's pretty crazy. And I promise you, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching right now, you're hearing stuff that is going to definitely challenge the way that you think.
Sure.
But it's right there. He's not reading it from his own site
No.
or his own thoughts and opinions and statistics. No, it's right out there.
And see, here's what they do. Here come the haters and arguers. Doc, can you give a direct relationship? See, that's what medicine does. That's what people that don't have anything to stand on, they go, there's no direct relationship, meaning if I push this, that there it is. Do you see what I'm saying? Because now on the flip side, they don't do that all the time.
Right.
And see, that's where they look at one causal effect. Guys, you keep pushing the biology towards one way. Do you see what I'm saying? It's why there's so much confusion. People say, well, they're having these feelings. Here, let me show you something, guys. I don't care if you're the strongest male on the planet. Let me give you synthetic estrogen. Let me give you hormone replacement therapy for just a week.
Yes.
And you will go through psychological things that you never thought you'd go through.
Speaking of that, BPA. Remember when I had that issue with the water bottles? That I
Oh
left in
my
goodness!
I have to tell you this.
Dude,
so this is, oh man, I wanted to kill him.
I was
as my best
turning
friend.
into a woman.
Get this. So this is not a joke, guys.
Not
This is
a
gonna be
lie.
hilarious because I've always yelled at him because, like I said before, I've always had to yell at him because he'll do something bad and he drink out of plastic. Guys, Plastics are indiscreet
that was
rubbers.
sitting in my car
For a
over
month.
summer.
Or
Yes,
summer.
it was summer.
Plastic body sat all through summer, and then drank the water.
Almost 16
and
bottles
he's like,
in 2 days.
And he literally, this is gonna be awesome because I don't know how many people know this, but it's kind of fun. Also, he calls me up. And he's like, and he's emotional as hell. And then guess what? He's like, dude, I'm not kidding. My nipples are sore.
Yes.
It was true, and I'm like, dude, you're becoming a female.
It after just drinking water. Highly emotional, irritable. It was like I was cycling. Not that I know what that's like, but yes, very sore.
Very sore nipples.
And sure enough, he's like, "What have you been doing? Anything different to your diet?" And I'm like, "Not really, just drinking water." He's like, "From what? Plastic bottles?" And he's like, "Dude, you know better." I said, "Well, they've been sitting in my car."
It sat in the car for 3 months, so the heat probably sucked all that plastic into it, and then he endocrine disrupted stuff.
Yes.
See, so the idea is this. So if you look at, let's talk about responsibility. So here's what happens. This was a big topic back in 2004, 2006, because remember, I'm a hormone guy, and I started watching all the research going, man, we got to be careful because it's really causing psychological changes that way. Now what's happened is this. It's interesting because now it's becoming more prominent. We're in Democrats, once again, Democrats are big on minority groups because they're trying to segregate people. So it's tearing Democrats a little bit now. You understand is this. If a person acted like that even 20 years ago, they actually, that's why here, let's go American Psychiatric Society. It's called gender dysphoria. Their feelings are moving in the wrong direction. Now, let me give you another part, and this is going to actually offend the people. But what happens is this, because they want to be all scientific on gender dysphoria. You know, we used to just call people like that crazy. There's just some crazy, stupid stuff. But now Democrats want people to accept crazy. Do you understand?
Crazy's the new norm.
Yeah, because you want to offend them. I want to offend them. There is a problem. Do you understand? There is a problem. You know, and here, you say, Doc, how can you say that? Because here's what happens. So let's go back clinically, okay? Let's go back clinically. Me and my offices have dealt with young ladies mainly, okay? And actually been some boys that have come in gender confused. And as we started to actually get rid of their endocrine disruptors and balance it out, lo and behold, guess what happened? I don't even
want to say it. They start to revert back to more.
They start to revert back to the biological gender that they were born with.
So the norm, yes.
Do you see what I'm saying? Here, let's do an experiment. And you guys that want to disagree with me, we'll find and get you some synthetic hormones, and you take them for a week. I'll measure your levels. We'll see them that way. And then you be honest to what you go through feeling-wise. See, what happens is this. Even on the American Psychiatric Society, it's all about feelings. It's all about feelings, okay? Guys, you know something is this? If you look at synthetic testosterone, if it's injected, the feelings that guys go, they want to kill somebody. That's why aggression's there. Yep. It doesn't make it right. Here's what happens. That's what we're going to start doing. So guess what? Let's take it on the flip side. Guys that are just angry, guess what? It's part of their gender. It's part of their gender.
Yep.
No, there's a problem. That's why all these roided out weightlifters a long time ago were doing such bad things because they biologically altered their chemistry way beyond what it's supposed to be. And here's what happens. Here's the sad part is this. Here, guys, you're put in a medical system, aka doctors, aka vaccines, aka soy formulas, aka it has nothing to do that you just dressed up in a dress and now you feel like a girl. Now, internally, it's changed you physically and psychologically that way. You know what I'm saying? I think every boy on the planet has put a dress on and put lipstick on as a little boy.
Don't you dare put that
on
me. Just because it was last week.
I was going to say, he still does. But see, that's why it is. Because now we do it on the flip side. It's like, man, the boys, guys, listen. By nature, when their biology hits, their testosterone is going to go through the roof. Do you see what I'm saying? You know what we have done, though? Society has so wussified guys.
Yes.
They have. Do you see what I'm saying? Because once again, if a woman gets upset, by nature, they're going to talk about it that way. If a guy gets upset, they want to punch each other in the face. But now what happens, we become so woman-dominated in softness. I'm not saying any guy should be able to punch another guy in the face. You know what I'm saying? And say, I'm talking guy to guy. I'm not talking guy to girl. I'm talking guy to guy.
Right.
You're saying? By nature, you know what I'm saying? It's like, and you have those thoughts like, here, I guarantee there's going to be 10 times a day a guy wants to punch another guy in the face. Okay? Because it's testosterone aggressive. Now, we have self-control. We don't do what our feelings tell us. Do you know what I'm saying? See, that's the one thing. That's why people get offended. That's why people are like, well, I disagree. My feelings are hurt. I don't care about your feelings, okay? Let's take a Ben Shapiro line. Facts don't care about your feelings.
There you go.
There. See, Ben, I'm still a fan. I just disagree with you on your whole medical stance. So I think you should have me on your show and let you show you. Well, it's true.
And another little plug. So Ben Shapiro, if you're watching, please.
No, but it happens
invite.
is this. But this is where so that what you do is you have one group yelling at one group here. I'm standing in the middle going, you're both idiots.
Yeah.
Do you understand? And let's talk about it from a scientific standpoint of view that way. But see, could you imagine now if all of a sudden the soy, here's what happens. Read about it. Soy pushes you towards a feed. Why do you think on the breast cancer website they caution women about eating soy? Because why? It can trigger breast cancer. Yeah. Can't say that because there's no causal relationship. Yeah, it's called thinking. It's called basic science. It's just that they want your double-blind clinical studies. Who's going to do a study that way? Who's going to do a study say, let's force these kids soy and give them all the stuff like that? Do you see what I'm saying? Here's one thing I want to show you this. I don't care if you're a girl and believe you're a guy or a guy believing you're a girl. Here's the cool thing is this. Let me make this stance. I'm a very strong libertarian. Not liberal. They're crazy, okay? Libertarian, which means I don't think the government should be able to tell us to do anything that way. We shouldn't actually be able to impede on anybody's civil liberties. If somebody wants to be gay, let them be gay. But the minute you tell me that I have to accept and call you sir when you're a girl, screw you.
Or the bathroom issue.
You know what I'm saying? That's where you're going to get some rage come out from me and say, no. If you got the genitals of a guy, I'm calling you sir, no matter what you want to be called. You think I'm joking? I just called up our software that actually said, you can show it. Our software, our medical software, which wanted to punch him in the face because this is ridiculous. I own a software, and I won't change my software. Let me say it again. I won't change my software because there's no federal law that says I have to change my software. You know what I'm saying?
What are they wanting you to do?
Here's what does it say?
So there's a spot for sex, and then there's a spot for sex at birth.
Sex at birth.
Male,
Listen,
female, or unknown.
Here's one thing,
Male
for example, is
or
this.
female or unknown.
If I test a male and they're biologically a male, but they say they're female, I'm still going to look at male hormones and what they should be. Why do you think most women that want to become men, they try to force their levels up that way? And here's what happens. Don't tell me you need hormone therapy, because you need hormone therapy the rest of your life, you're going to have a cancer anyways. See, want to make a very disgusting statement? Most of these gender people that get actually hormone
Gender
therapy,
reassignments, yep,
are going to end up with cancer and die early anyways. Do you know why? You can't keep pushing those hormones in one way and actually expect there to be a good thing.
Yeah.
You're going to end up with cancer.
You're pushing the body beyond what it was created to be.
It was not meant to be that way.
Right.
So everybody's fighting about, and that's where I say it. And here's what happens. I have no problem if you want to do it. You know why? If you want to do it, you want to pay for it yourself. But the minute you think that the government, the minute you think that my tax dollars things should be part of that, I'll fight you every single way.
It's like
because
the Boy
that's
Scouts.
not normal.
Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, the whole push for them to...
I actually did a little more research on the Boy Scouts that way, because once I have my opinion on that way. The reason why the Boy Scouts are changing most, because by happens is this. Most organizations like Boy Scouts, it was great for what was there,
So you're
but
saying
it has a shelf life. So they're trying to be more inclusive to gain more customers. It's still a business. The Boy Scouts aren't all about fun for kids. It's a business. And the result is there are people that have a job. The Boy Scouts Association, the Girl Scouts, they make a bunch of money, and they're losing. They're having less participation. So they're going to try to be inclusive to call everybody. But then what they do, they try to make it a gender issue. Here, you want to talk about gender issues? Look at the hormonal issues.
That's right.
I have yet to see one of the little girls that I test. I'm talking teenage girls that came in and they thought they were a boy. They actually had normal hormones. Do you see what I'm saying? Because why? Guys, ladies, here, let's talk about people that are not gender confused, because it is confusion. Here, think of it this way. If your hormones are off, man, psychologically, you're horrible. It does. It's a big topic. But instead of actually looking for help for those people, we got to accept it. No, that's like saying, someone says this, it's coming, guys, it's coming. Here's what happens, because it won't stop at this.
Sure.
Here's what happens. I see dead people. I see this dead person. I see people. I talk to them. No, we'd call them crazy right now. The way we're going, 30 years from now, they'll be offended, and they're going to have dead people groups that we're going to have parades for and stuff like that. That we got to accept their stupidity. Do you see what I'm saying?
Mark it down, time capsule, right
You
there.
betcha.
30 years from now.
So
even bringing that up, we're talking about gender neutrality, but even this, whether you're focusing on the concept of gender neutrality, even today, young girls are reaching puberty quicker and quicker. They're developing quicker and quicker, and boys seem to be having this masculine side of them neutered.
And they're actually, the one thing is this, and it's really kind of scary. Young girls are hitting that sexual peak way too early. And they're starting to menstruate. Man, I've had a 7-year-old come in that actually was menstruating. 7-year-old. And I'll tell you right now, here we go. You want to see another contribution?
But that's genetic, so.
Yeah, it's genetic, for example, because you can change your genes by your stress levels. Here, you want to see why some of these things also happen too? Sexual abuse.
Sure.
sexual abuse. Stimulating a young girl or a young boy's genitals at an age changes their hormone thought process that way, and they can induce a lot of bad things to happen. You know what I'm saying? And that's why the family structure is so important. That's why, for example, today, once again, abuse happens statistically more in single parent families than couples.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? See, my thought's totally different on it. You have two sides fighting over who should have the rights. I think everybody should have rights. No one should impinge on the rights. But when you impinge on my rights to believe stupidity and think I'm going to call you a boy or call you a girl when you're not, even these patients that came in, I still address them as ma'am and sir. I still address them as young lady, as young man. Because why? Because once again, when I tested their hormone levels, even though they believe they're opposite sex, internally, it still showed a woman. Internally, it still showed a guy, no matter what was happening here. And there was a problem happening here because there was a massive problem here.
So then at your point, as the person who is going to be providing care, you're going to provide the care that is right physiologically, not mentally.
Yes.
Not based on feelings or emotions.
Here, this happens all the time. Do you know how the hormone connection started? It started out as teaching people how to get healthy. And then people started going, man, my marriage is better. I'm happier.
Yes.
I'm this. Because the psychiatric aspect started to change. Guys, think about it this way. We're doing all these things. And I truly, honestly, with all my experience and all my understanding of this way, I truly believe that medicine is the biggest culprit to gender problems that way. Because they're so disrupting the body from the minute that they're born with vaccines and soy pharmas and all this disruption and not doing birth properly and giving them antibiotics and changing their whole biochemistry. And then guess what? And it's like, and they wonder why all these things. Here, that's why I said, since we're going to go on the whole political thing, like I talked about last week, there's no such thing as a healthcare debate because healthcare sucks across the world. We're at an all-time level for countries. All we have is a healthcare insurance debate. We got to start having a healthcare debate, which is our current system, as their only claim to fame is that, guess what? We could have had an infection 20 years ago or 50 years ago, and we had antibiotics, and now we don't die from it that way. Great, so we lived longer, but we're so sicker than everything in history that way. And this continued psychoticness because no one's standing up and saying their thinking is wrong beyond emergency care. Mm-hmm. You're saying?
That's right.
So guess what, doctors? Yes, Ben, your wife may be a doctor, and you throw that out all the time when you talk about healthcare. But I'm going to throw out going, listen, if you do these things and she pushes that, she's just as big a contributor to the problem that you're fighting against and anything else that way. Check the system. Look what happens. Take what I said that way. Go on the governmental websites. Here you go. Go on the NIH. Go on all the things about endocrine disruptors. It's all right there. All these things cause huge psychiatric changes. And if you continue to perpetuate the stupidity of our healthcare that way, this problem, for example, will continue, and you'll just have more parades, and you'll have more understanding of diversity.
Yes.
Do you understand? There used to be a time where we looks at a person and say, no, listen, you're wrong. This is not right. Well, you can't say that to people because they're offended.
Don't want to offend.
I will tell you.
Right.
I will tell you. You got to people always talk about silent majority. Silent majority is just as blame as before. Because people said, no, this ain't going to happen that way. But once again, we have people on the left, saying that, listen, you have to accept everything. I accept everybody. Trust me. I take care of a bunch of people. I take care. It doesn't mean I discriminate against them. I just say, listen, if they ask me my opinion, I will give it in great detail.
Yes. Well, I think you already then answered the second part of this, and as you talk about hormones and that man and women are biologically set up to be different, having the same hormones yet at different levels, how can this play into even, just confusing the approach to gender identity? And I think you just nailed it on top of the head because you're all these endocrine disruptors and putting the bodies at a place where it's skewed from its
Until we change our perspective of what happens with the human body, until we change the perspective of our farming, farmers, and my in-laws are farmers too. Farmers, your insecticides, your pesticides, your Roundup. Bayer just bought Monsanto, and they're going to get rid of the name Monsanto because of its negative connotation that way. That's like calling high fructose corn syrup corn sugar.
Right.
Do you understand? All they're doing is, for example, is diverting your attention, and they're going to push it towards things, and they're going to push it, and they're going to leverage people against each other instead of having a real discussion.
It's kind of like the Matrix.
Yeah.
You're going to stay plugged into the system and just believe it because it seems to be the truth, or you're going to dive into it and take, what color pill was it again? The blue or the red? It doesn't even really matter, but this is the stuff right here. Take it, run with it, and digest it. Let it mess with you, and let it change the way that you think because, really what he's saying right here, it's kind of hard to argue with.
Mm-hmm.
It really is on a physiological level.
Was it?
It's not based on emotion or feeling.
Any doctor is going to look and go, hey, it's biological. That's right. So this is not an emotional discussion. It's not a feeling discussion. Take all feelings out, and you can have a normal discussion.
It's all we have for
Show 52.
It's all I got for you on show.
All this team is like,
I know, it's just
holy
like,
crap, we're going to have picketers soon.
Silence.
I like picketers.
I think it's great.
It's great.
I told you. Episode 52, the 1 year, this was going to be a show for the archives. This is the one that's going to create a lot of conversation, and I hope it messes with you. I really do, but I hope it messes with you like every other episode because it's information that's given for you free of charge with no hidden agenda.
With no
not
sponsors.
trying to sell you jack squat or sponsors, all just to be able to do this with you one more time next week, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time from Florida. We'll see you then.